Hi, I'm Rock Solid, ecologist, geologist, and good guide. Around here, the most amazing stuff you'll find is the stuff that nature did all by herself. Come on, have a look! I'm not an urban guy, but as cities go, Rio de Janeiro's pretty interesting. Instead of fighting nature, Rio enjoys it. And it might as well, since it's tucked between great granite mountains and wide white beaches. Rio's 10 million people call themselves Cariocas, and they have 3 passions: sun, soccer, and samba, the local dance music. Brazil isn't all big cities. 2/3 of it is covered by the Amazon rainforest, the biggest, densest jungle in the world, and home to 1/5 of Earth's plant and animal species. It's to protect those species that people like me try to discourage those who want to clear the forests for farming or mining. There's nothing like a big, pointy hunk of granite, I always say. And here's one of my favorites, Sugarloaf, rising over 1,200 feet above Guanabara Bay. Take a cable car to the top if you want great views. Brazil is by far the largest country in South America in size and population, and it's the only place in the Americas where the people speak Portuguese. Why? Because traders from Portugal landed here 500 years ago, bringing their language with them. This granite peak is called Corcovado. On top you can see an amazing statue. A huge sculpture of Christ the Redeemer, with his arms outstretched, blessing the whole city. As you might have guessed, Christianity is pretty big around here. Goodbye! Hi, great to see you. Zip up your parka and let's explore Iceland. Notice how clean this place is? If I was Iceland's ecology teacher, I'd give the whole country an A. Homes here are warmed with heat from thousands of active volcanoes, and their electricity comes from water generators powered by waterfalls. Just like me, they're working with nature, not against it. I'm not a huge fan of civilization, but the Icelanders are pretty good at it, I must say. They've practically never had a war. They live very long lives, and virtually everyone gets a good education. Folks from Ireland and Scandinavia first came to live on Iceland about 1,100 years ago. It's warmer here than other places this far north, but the settlers called it Iceland so others would think it was freezing and leave them alone. Nice trick, huh? Iceland isn't as icy as it sounds. Only 11% of the country is covered by glaciers. In fact, Iceland's weather has warmed up in the last few decades, so the ice has been melting and shrinking. If you don't think global warming is real, tell it to Iceland's glaciers. That's not a pleasure boat, it's a fishing vessel. One of about 1,000 that work the waters around Iceland. Fish are Iceland's biggest export, but there are strict rules about how many fish can be caught each year. I call that Earth smart. Goodbye! Hiya! Let's carefully cruise through Kenya's cool ecology. Thousands of animals live and breed here in the Mount Kenya Game Ranch, with plenty of food and no predators. The place started out as a safari club, but eventually its members decided to help the animals instead of hunting them. Every now and then, good sense prevails. Mountains and plains are just one kind of Kenya. The country has all sorts of other landscapes too, from gorgeous beaches on the Indian Ocean to dense tropical forests to Lake Victoria, the second biggest body of fresh water in the world. You could look around for months, but of course, that's my job. Here it is, smack in the center of the country, Mount Kenya. This extinct volcano at 17,058 feet is the second highest peak on the whole continent. One little wildlife ranch doesn't tell the whole story. Kenya's people know that animals are precious and irreplaceable, so they've set aside 6 million acres of national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. If you're a zebra, this is the place to be. A movie star named William Holden founded the Mount Kenya Safari Club with 2 of his millionaire pals. They picked a gorgeous spot with an old hotel, added luxurious cabins, and since then it's been crawling with Hollywood bigwigs. Of course, the animals really don't care if you're a movie star. Goodbye! Hi, welcome to South Africa. This is Cape Town, one of South Africa's 3 capitals. People have fished and farmed by this gorgeous mountainous seaside for 10,000 years. But about 200 years ago, Europeans came in search of what was under the land and sea: diamonds, gold, and oil. You're standing at the Victoria and Alfred waterfront. 100 years ago, it was a new bustling port. 20 years ago, it was scrubby and falling apart, but now it's been revived with new buildings, yachts, shops, restaurants, and all that. It's nice, if you like that sort of thing. Cape Town is a big city, dwarfed by a huge, flat-topped mountain, Table Mountain. The mountaintop is flat because it was an ocean floor long ago, but earthquakes have slowly pushed it up out of the sea. In the mountain's side, you can still see layers and layers of lovely ocean sediment. Goodbye!
Ndege 324 sasa yaondoka Tanzania. Safari njema.
Welcome to Tanzania. Let's take a little nature walk, shall we? People have lived in Tanzania since long before anyone called it Tanzania. In fact, my old pal Louis Leakey found fossilized human teeth here that were about 2 million years old. I wonder if they had international thieves back then, too. If you want to see wildlife, this is your spot. Serengeti National Park. The world's biggest herds of gazelle and wildebeest wander these plains, along with zebras, lions, hippos, giraffes, hyenas, elephants, you name it. You'll definitely want to clean your shoes after this assignment. Tanzania used to be two different countries, Tanganyika and the island nation of Zanzibar. They united in 1964, and now over 100 different tribal groups call the country home. But as long as you know the language, you'll get by just fine. You do speak Bantu, don't you? That snow-capped mountain in the mist is Kilimanjaro, Africa's highest peak, or peaks, I should say, since Kilimanjaro has two different summits, Kibo and Mwenzi. That 19,000-foot hill is actually a volcano, but don't worry, it's been extinct for years. Goodbye!
Good evening. Flight 707 is now arriving in New Zealand.
There's a lot to see in New Zealand, so let's look around. We're standing in Fiordland National Park, a protected wilderness where humans can visit but can't stay. The planet doesn't get much prettier than this. Steep mountains rising from the water, dense forests, glacial lakes, waterfalls, and more rain than you've ever seen. Got an umbrella? One reason this place is so wild and beautiful is that humans just recently got here. The Maoris were the first. They came from Polynesia about 650 years ago. Europeans arrived just over 200 years ago and brought the real crowd. Sheep. There are 20 times more sheep than people, but of course, the sheep don't vote. Nature was in a dramatic mood when it created New Zealand. This wild, beautiful island nation was blasted into the South Pacific by volcanic force. In fact, volcanoes on the North Island still supply power for much of the country. Keep your toes out of the lava. Fiordland is fabulous, and Milford Sound is my favorite part. Glaciers dug out a deep valley here millions of years ago. Then the ocean filled it with water. This is a great place to take a hike and get a feel for New Zealand's topography. If you like your landscape loud, wet, and majestic, head for Sutherland Falls. Bet you never thought melting snow could be so powerful. It's not just a cool cascade, it's the fourth highest waterfall in the world. Around Milford Sound, you can't miss Mitre Peak. It's that mountain in the middle that rises straight up out of the water, 1,500 meters. On a clear day, its reflection makes it look twice as big. It's all in the presentation. Goodbye!